Nouveau. But our first today's special is, of course, something that every cell needs. It's Andrew's CoQ10. With over 4,100 reviews, 3,500 of them are perfect 5 stars. We wait for this time every year to stock up, replenish our supply, or maybe try it for the first time. Tonight, it's a big deal because you can choose Andrew's CoQ10, the best in the world, or choose Andrew's CoQ10 with vitamin D3, and there will be no extra charge for the vitamin D3. I'll go over prices in a second, but Andrew, obviously wonderful to see you. You and I launched this just a few hours ago. I had a lot of feedback from last night, people saying the same thing. They couldn't believe we maintained the price.
Well, it's something that, as I said a year ago, it's something that we were going to strive to do. That we see the way costs of food, that we see the way costs of, certainly out here, we're in California right now, it's almost $7 a gallon for gasoline. So it's been challenging. So we've been doing our very best. And what, again, this differentiates my company in that most vitamin companies, 90% of the vitamins you get are just made by contract manufacturers. They're marketing companies selling the vitamins, and they're made for them by someone else. We do all of this ourselves. And because we do it ourselves, it gives us incredible control over cost and our incredible control over the efficiency. And at today's special for us, on a day, we go through probably more CoQ10 than most companies would go through in a few years. So it's an opportunity for us to be incredibly efficient, and that efficiency that we've been able to maintain over the last several years means that our CoQ10 today is a small fraction of the price it was 38 years ago when I first introduced CoQ10, long before anyone else. I don't think anyone else was offering CoQ10 when I started in 1984. So it's much more affordable today than it was in the 80s or the 90s or the early 2000s. And in fact, the great price we introduced about 3 years ago, we've been able to hold that great price ever since, which I'm surprised we've been able to, but it's a great opportunity to do so today, to just give it a try. I mean, your cells, you said, everyone or every cell needs CoQ10 to make energy. So every person that has cells needs CoQ10 to make energy. And I have some great science charts that I'm going to go through that I haven't had time to go through in the prior hours, but I think it's important. The science isn't boring at all. It's easy to understand, and it is compelling. The more you learn about CoQ10, the more you will never want to go a day without it, because as we get older, once we go over the age of 20, we start losing CoQ10 levels. It's inevitable. It's inescapable. We can't avoid it. So the only way to make sure our cells and our key organs can function their best is to supplement. I wish I could say you could get it from food, but as I went through a chart earlier today, that would mean you'd be eating cow brain and cow heart, or pig brain or chicken brain or heart, because their vital organs are concentrated with CoQ10. And we don't, of course, eat their vital organs. So there's no great source. The average intake of CoQ10 daily is a couple of milligrams. You're getting a couple of 100 milligrams in this product. And that's what we need to deliver the benefits of CoQ10.
So with that being said, just a reminder, the reason we've sold 22,000 now today is because of the significant savings. I mean, massive savings. Draw your attention to the pricing over here. Obviously, that pricing is about to expire. It's a one-day only. 30, 61, 22, 40, or the specialty 500 caps to really stock up. This is the price of just the CoQ10 by itself. Largest size would normally be $414. Today, it's $199.90, saving $215. Look what happens when I change the chart to the CoQ10 with 1,000 IU of vitamin D3. The price has stayed the same, but of course the cost of it's gone up here. There's no extra charge for vitamin D3. That's a $300 saving if you go for the largest size. Look what happens if I go to 2,000 IU of vitamin D3. Well, now we're up to $511 and change. The price has stayed the same. That's why most people are doing that right there. They're getting CoQ10 with 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 and saving $312. It's about being excited, and when Andrew takes us through the science, you'll see how compelling it is. When you talk about energy and you talk about fatigue, you talk about outlook, and also all the extras from heart and kidneys and liver and brain and everything else, there's so much to be said, Andrew, about the benefits of CoQ10.
And I wouldn't be exaggerating to say we could spend an hour going over the science for relating to CoQ10 in the eye, or CoQ10 in the brain, or CoQ10 in the liver, CoQ10 and the ear, CoQ10 and oral health, dental, and of course ours going over CoQ10 and energy. So I'm going to read a few charts here, and hopefully they're as exciting for you as they are for me, or as inspiring for you as they are for me. But as we see here, this is from the Journal of Indian Society of Periodontology. Deficiency of CoQ10 has been found to be responsible for periodontal destruction. Therefore, this study was undertaken to evaluate the anti-gingivitis effect of CoQ10 on plaque-induced gingivitis. Wow. The promising results were obtained after the solitary a single application of CoQ10, as well as when it was used as an adjunct to scaling and root planing for treatment of plaque-induced gingivitis. Clinical trials on humans have revealed a relation between oral administration of CoQ10 and improved gingival health and immune response. And that's why I've always said, if there was a dental product that I make, it's CoQ10. This is from Critical Reviews in Food Science and Nutrition. CoQ10 levels are increased in the first 20 years of life. However, the organism, being us, begins to lose its ability to synthesize, to create CoQ10. Along aging, and its concentration may become deficient. So as we age, it's a fact of life that our CoQ10 levels become less available. From Critical Reviews in Food Science and Nutrition. As a general rule, tissues with high energy requirements or metabolic activity, such as the heart, kidney, liver, and muscle, heart, kidney, and liver, brain, they never stop working. They always need energy, contain relatively high concentrations of CoQ10. That's why eating the heart, the brain, the liver of animals is the best source of CoQ10. We just don't do that. Human CoQ10 levels range from 8 micrograms per gram in the lung to 114 micrograms per gram in the heart. And this is the frightening thing. Dietary contribution, I mentioned this before, of CoQ10, meaning what we typically get from our diet is 3 to 5 milligrams a day. Just a few milligrams a day is all we get. And the reason why is, unfortunately, this chart is here. Just a second, down, got it. The reason why is if we look at the best sources of CoQ10 in the diet, you're going to have to be eating extraordinary amounts of animal organs. Animal organs, these vital organs have a vital requirement for energy, and that means they have a vital requirement for CoQ10. So not surprising, those are the best sources of CoQ10. But if you look at a normal source, whether it's a chicken thigh or a chicken breast or canned tuna, you're talking about having to eat several pounds, not several, more than 10 pounds, 18 pounds, 28 pounds, 35 pounds per day to equal the amount of CoQ10 in a single capsule. So practically speaking, as we look right here, practically speaking, if we look at a quarter-pound portion of the typical meats we eat, you see why that's the typical level of CoQ10 we get daily. We get literally a few milligrams to 5 milligrams from a typical portion of meat, or if we look at fish, even less. So unfortunately, CoQ10 is all but impossible to get from a healthy diet. CoQ10 supplements at a dose of 150 milligrams can decrease oxidative stress and increase antioxidant enzyme activity. A higher dose of CoQ10 supplements, greater than 150 milligrams per day, that's why we're at 200, might promote rapid and sustainable antioxidation, reduced oxidative stress, which is associated with longevity, all sorts of benefits. From the International Journal of Cardiology, endogenous synthesis, internal synthesis of CoQ10 in our body declines with age, indicating a rationale for supplementation in the elderly. And by the way, when they're talking about elderly, they're talking about over the age of 50, which I guess that means I qualify. But cancer, epidemiology, biomarkers, and prevention. Cellular and tissue levels of CoQ10 decrease with age, and cellular levels below a critical threshold are incompatible with life. More appropriately, incompatible with health. From Critical Reviews in Food Science and Nutrition, the intracellular biosynthesis, the creation of CoQ10 in our cells, begins through a cascade of amino acid precursors which indispensably require 8 vitamins, namely vitamins B6, vitamin C, vitamin B2, vitamin B12, folic acid, niacin, and pantothenic acid. Guess which CoQ10 supplement also delivers all of those nutrients? So we don't just deliver CoQ10, we deliver the materials your body needs to make CoQ10. And that would be my supplement. So it's not just CoQ10 and your choice of vitamin D, but you get all the precursors, all the tools necessary to enhance your own synthesis of CoQ10. So you win, you benefit both ways with this formula. You're getting an opportunity to get the best CoQ10 in the world at an extremely high level, 200 milligrams, and you get all the tools you need to make the CoQ10 that your body's going to struggle to make internally as well.
We're promoting energy, we're promoting optimum health. What we're not doing is reaching for another cup of coffee. What we're not doing is reaching for another energy drink or one of those little energy shots. Because you know every time we go for that energy drink or that energy shot, we know deep down it might not be the best thing for us. But as we mature, as we go through the craziness of life, we start to feel that fatigue, we start to feel that drain. CoQ10. CoQ10 is the answer. I always say it every time I'm with Andrew. I wouldn't miss a day without CoQ10. I totally credit it in terms of keeping me up and going through the crazy hours and the late nights, but it works. And one of the things that we're really proud of tonight, beyond the extraordinary science that backs up everything, beyond the record-breaking reviews, of which, remember, there are over 4,100 reviews, and of the 4,100, over 3,500 are perfect 5-star rated. Beyond that and that, we've got something else that can really take it over the edge, and that is by saying you've got a massive extended return policy. We want you to feel the difference and experience what other people are seeing and experiencing, see the impact it has on your life. If you buy this today, at the lowest price of the year, the biggest value of the year, you've got all of October, all of November, all of December, and all of January. And if by the end of January you say, I could take it or leave it, well then of course Andrew and I would want you to send this back and you would get a refund of the purchase price. But Andrew, the curiosity, the experience, the reputation that this has is one that you do have to be attracted to.
Well, there's no escaping the fact that we need CoQ10 to produce energy. Our key organs, which are so energy dependent, and it's really interesting when we look at the best sources of CoQ10 in our diet, which of course are not part of a normal healthy diet where you're eating the brain of animals or the heart of animals. The reason why the brain and the heart are the richest sources of CoQ10, in those animals, just as we humans, those organs have an endless requirement, an interminable requirement for energy. And CoQ10 is the critical electron transport molecule for the creation of that energy, also for the protection of those tissues. So understanding how important it is for these key organs and that our body's ability to create it suffers with age, and that on a daily basis we're lucky to get just a few milligrams. That's what underscores how important it is to supplement. And even if you don't take a capsule every day, that's what I do. If you took a capsule every other day, if you took a capsule a week, one a week, that would still be the equivalent of the 30 milligrams a day of CoQ10 I originally introduced back in 1984.
Wow.
So even at one capsule a week, it's still an incredible value, an incredible bargain, and it's something that'll make a difference. I was just going to read some more of these charts because there's even more science that I just would love to get to, because I think the best decision to try this isn't because I say it's such an exciting ingredient. It's because you hear about the science as to why it's an exciting ingredient. Not just because I say so, but because the science is unequivocal and our requirement for it absolutely inescapable. So if, as we look at this chart here, from current neurovascular research, it was reported that animals supplemented on CoQ10 may reach a significantly longer mean lifespan, average lifespan, 11.7%. That's an enormous difference. A significantly higher maximum lifespan, 24%, an even bigger difference, and increased learning capacity than non-supplemented animals, suggesting that a long-term supplementation with a small dosage of CoQ10 may represent a good anti-aging strategy. I would say it's a phenomenal anti-aging strategy. It's healthy, it's beneficial, it comes with no side effects or risks, and it's economical. This is from Critical Reviews in Food Science and Nutrition. The human body biosynthesizes CoQ10, but its endogenous tissue levels drop progressively with increasing age. CoQ10 is chiefly found in the most active organs like the heart, kidney, and liver, where an even greater decline can be observed with increasing age, which not surprisingly, those organs, as we get older, they don't function better than when we're younger. The purpose of this systematic review was to examine markers of mitochondrial function. The mitochondria is where all energy in our body is produced, that have evidence of an association with fatigue. And this is probably why most people reach for CoQ10. The most commonly investigated mitochondrial enzyme was CoQ10. It was the only mitochondrial biomarker found to have a consistent association with fatigue identified in this review. There is evidence that mitochondrial dysfunction and oxidative stress are directly related to fatigue in humans. Thus, enhancement of mitochondrial functions with CoQ10 may be an important mechanism by which fatigue can be reduced. And I like going to different journals saying similar things. CoQ10 is critical for the cell power supply in the mitochondria. Neurons require high energy. Neurons are nerve cells for synaptic transmission. Our brain is made of them. That's how our nervous system functions throughout our body. And therefore, mitochondrial dysfunction often leads to neuronal degradation of nerves, as observed in many neurological issues. For molecular neurobiology, administration of CoQ10 has positive mood-enhancing effects. Remember, the brain is a complex of nerves, neurons. Our mood resides in our brain. CoQ10 treatment significantly reduces fatigue and improves ergonomic performance during exercise, and thus may have potential in alleviating the exercise intolerance and exhaustion displayed by people with fatigue-related symptoms, especially as we get older. I'll do a couple more. This is from an Italian medical journal, Biochimica Biofisica Acta. Low levels of CoQ10 were consistently associated with fatigue. CoQ10 was the most studied mitochondrial enzyme where reduced plasma levels of CoQ10 were found in the fatigued populations compared to healthy controls. So I hope that, so when they looked at all of these different markers, reduced plasma levels of CoQ10 was the one that was most associated with increased fatigue, which shouldn't come as a surprise. CoQ10 is not a drug or a medicine. It is not a stimulant. What CoQ10 is, it's the means by which electrons move, and the movement of those electrons is how we make energy. I know it sounds strange that we as human beings, with whatever the rich human experiences we have, that it's all a result of electrons jumping around. Right. But inside our cells, inside our mitochondrion, what gives us the energy we sense and feel, what allows us to live and work, it's the movement of electrons within our cells. And CoQ10 is the tool that our body not just uses, but our tool that's indispensable, our body must have, or we can't experience life as human beings. So that's why it's so important. We have an abundance of it when we're young. That drops off quickly as we age. And what suffers most are the key organs that are most energy dependent, our brain, our heart, our liver. And that's why it's so important to make sure that we supplement. I wish I could say, eat a diet rich in foods, rich in CoQ10, like I say with our ultimate eye, lutein and zeaxanthin. Green leafy vegetables, fantastic for the eyes. Or with omega-3s. If I was on a shopping channel in Japan, I wouldn't have to mention omega-3s because it's so rich in the diet. There is no adequate source of CoQ10 unless you're going to start eating animal organs every day, a few pounds of animal organs every day, which I don't recommend. I think someone on Instagram called the Liver King does that, but I'm not going to recommend that as a sensible path for most people to achieve. For him, it seems to work. I'm not sure it's going to work for everybody else. But again, if you want to get the CoQ10 you need, supplementation is going to be the only viable, realistic, sensible way for us to go about it.
From Andrew introducing it all those years ago and discussing it on the air, talking about it on the air, showcasing the science, the reasoning behind it, the importance and significance of it. So all these years later in 2022, its importance never, ever, ever subsides. We have to supplement for optimum health. It makes so much sense. What's wonderful is you're buying the world's finest with no additives, no fillers, no binders, all made in a solar-powered facility in Henderson, Nevada that is world-class. Nothing else like it on the planet today compares to where your CoQ10 is formulated, and that's why we're excited to present it. Obviously, Andrew's been here throughout the day. We launched at midnight, and we're bringing it to a close. The pricing is the reason why why we have sold such a huge volume. For the world's best CoQ10, just to give you an example, this is the most popular choice. It's the CoQ10 with vitamin D3, 2000 IU. The value is $511.98. I mean, it's expensive. It's worth every penny, but it's expensive. If you order it today before midnight, if you order it today while it's the today's special, it's $199 and change. I mean, a significant discount. You're saving way more than you're spending. And Andrew, one of the things that you can't ignore is that if we go to the next chart, this is so much more than just the CoQ10 or the D3. We're talking comprehensive B12 and vitamin C, again, adding extra value and layers to the offer.
And that doesn't even consider the other B vitamins as well. So if you're just looking at those three ingredients, it more than justifies the purchase. And that's what I try to do, is make my formulas not just all about the star ingredient. Because the star ingredient, like any star, I don't think there's ever been a successful movie, even with a huge star in it, that there weren't co-stars. Otherwise, it's just going to be a monologue. And unfortunately, or fortunately, CoQ10, as important as it is dependent on other nutrients and the other tools to deliver its benefits. So CoQ10 is not a solo actor inside the mitochondria of our cells moving electrons. So we make sure that other ingredients that CoQ10 is dependent on to deliver its benefits, that those other ingredients don't deliver. As they always say, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So you could have a chain that's incredibly strong. It has one weak link, it'll break there every time, and then that chain is useless. So as important as CoQ10 is, if there are other weak links in the energy production pathway, then those are going to limit the production of energy. I prefer to eliminate all of those weak links. And also, it's great to supplement CoQ10, but you can't overlook the fact that our body, even when we're 90 years old, it might suffer and struggle in terms of CoQ10 synthesis, but our body still has the ability to produce some CoQ10, especially if you deliver the tools. So we not only deliver the CoQ10, we deliver the tools necessary for the body to optimally produce CoQ10. So again, as I said before, you benefit both ways. We deliver the best CoQ10, we also deliver the tools to produce the best CoQ10. And you benefit both ways. Just read a couple more charts here, because I think this talked about the main reason people look at CoQ10, and it's fatigue. This is from a scientific journal, Antioxidants and Redox Signaling. Oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction, that's the dysfunction of the energy-producing organelles in all our cells. And people look at mitochondria as an indication of our health and our longevity. But CoQ10 deficiency has been well documented in frequent and persistent fatigue. Emerging data suggests that CoQ10 deficiencies have been described in patients with frequent and persistent fatigue. Preliminary data have shown a remarkable clinical improvement after initiating oral CoQ10 supplementation in patients with frequent and persistent fatigue. And from clinical nutrition, because CoQ10 increases cellular ATP, adenosine triphosphate, production, key energy marker in our cells, via mitochondrial oxidative phosphorylation, its supplementation could help improve fatigue and other symptoms in frequent and persistent fatigue. And again, CoQ10 is not a stimulant, but what CoQ10 is, it's a critical part of the machinery by which our body converts fuel, the things we eat, into energy. In fact, not having adequate CoQ10 levels is not just incompatible with health, it's incompatible with life. So CoQ10 is something that as we age, we really need to pay attention to in terms of our health. And with this product, it becomes really economically easy to justify, because you get a separate vitamin C, a separate vitamin D, a full B-complex, a separate equivalent of B12 in that B-complex, and of course, high levels of your CoQ10 for the best price we've ever offered, which is saying a lot because we've offered CoQ10 since 1984.
And obviously, as we said, from midnight to now, We all expect prices to escalate. We expect prices to rise because we see it everywhere we go. It's important to recognize this price has not increased. Year on year, this price has stayed the same. And in fact, as it shows in the graphics right there, if you choose to get the vitamin D3 in the formula, that is free. There is no additional charge for that. Heck, Andrew and I could spend all night talking about this, whether it's the science, the research, the reviews, there's a lot to go over, but this really is the moment to buy it. When this offer closes at midnight tonight, it will be another year, another 365 days or so before we will have another today's special. Yes, you can buy CoQ10, but it won't be as good a deal as this, as big a discount as this. So if you need to replenish, if you need to restock, if you're curious about all the things that you've heard us talk about tonight, make today the day that you absolutely buy it. It's important to recognize on all these sizes, although we focus a lot on the 500 capsules, it's just because it's always the most popular, it represents the biggest value. But this size and even the 30 capsule size are all on 5 FlexPay. So no matter which you choose today, everything's on 5 FlexPay to be super affordable and accessible. Okay? Because our health is the one thing where we can't skimp. We have to invest in ourselves. Maybe just this morning when you got out of bed, maybe just after lunchtime, you felt that lull, you felt that lag, you felt that fatigue, that the energy wasn't there. Maybe it's stress at work and it just kind of brings you down. You haven't got the get up and go to chase after the kids or the grandkids anymore. You're not alone. It's all of us. The CoQ10 levels depleting. We talk about every cell needs it, every body needs it. We all need it. So how will we supplement it? There's a lot of brands out there. I can go to the big box store, I can go to the grocery store, I can go to the vitamin store, but nothing compares to this. And when you stack this up against other CoQ10s that are on the market, there simply is no comparison. Andrew, 26 years later on HSN, and even before that on our sister channel QVC, your reputation has always been founded on bringing the very, very best to market.
And following the science. That's what I've always prided myself on, is the fact that we carefully monitor the science and then we patiently bring a product to market. CoQ10, to give you an idea, we still patiently brought it to market, but it was 38 years ago. Probably took almost another 20 years before the rest of the industry adopted it. I was talking about that earlier today, that when I first introduced CoQ10 on television, the response I would hear was that I don't see this at all in my stores. How could this really be important? It's not in my grocery store. It's not on the shelves in my pharmacy. How could CoQ10 really be important? It just took a long time for other companies to adopt it. I think kind of because they're not following the science, and they're not really interested in educating those who are buying their products. I think what I've always done is follow the science and patiently, whether it was glucosamine and chondroitin, which I introduced in 1979, whether it's vitamin K2, MK7, which we introduced probably almost 20 years ago, lutein and zeaxanthin about that long ago, that I've always been all about, even though when I introduced these ingredients, CoQ10, when I introduced it, wasn't popular at all. It took years. It took a very patient approach of discussing the science, discussing the research as I'm doing here today. And now, of course, everyone's heard about CoQ10, and we all understand the critically important role it plays. We also all understand that it's probably very hard to find a medication that we take that doesn't adversely, that doesn't negatively affect the levels of CoQ10 in our bodies. So whether it's a statin drug to lower cholesterol, whether it's a bisphosphonate for osteoporosis or osteopenia, whether it might be a beta blocker that we might take for hypertension, high blood pressure, or for a cardiac arrhythmia, whether it might be antidepressants that so many of us take. These medications affect CoQ10 levels in our body in a negative way. Not surprisingly, side effects from those medications include fatigue. So CoQ10, it's a very straightforward ingredient to understand. It's not complicated. It transports electrons. What gets complicated are the implications of an impaired energy production system in our body. It's not just fatigue that we might feel on a sort of a gross level, that we notice we wake up, we're not as energetic, or in the afternoon, we're not as energetic. It really goes to the fact that long before we feel fatigue, the key organs in our body that have these absolutely incredibly high requirements for energy. Our heart never stops beating, our brain never stops working, even when we're sleeping, our liver is constantly filtering thousands, tens of thousands of different kinds of toxins or contaminants or byproducts of metabolism. All this work goes on constantly, and it requires an inordinate amount of energy to do it. And that's where impaired levels of CoQ10 and its implications for our ability to produce energy, that's where we notice it. That's where we feel it. And what I was going to do is just read some reviews. I haven't read a single review of CoQ10 today. And the reviews are perhaps the most exciting, compelling, inspiring aspect of this product. Again, I think almost 90% five-star reviews and well over 90% 4- and 5-star reviews. So really exciting opportunity. Perfect formula. I didn't know how important CoQ10 was until Andrew Lessman explained it. I was low on vitamin D according to an annual doctor visit, so I ordered CoQ10 200 with vitamin D3 2000. Now it's part of my daily vitamins. You have helped so many of us with your safe vitamins and minerals. Again, all our vitamins 100% pure, additive-free, no lubricants, flowing agents, additives, allergens, nothing. Non-GMO, gluten-free, you name it. They're exactly as you would make them if you were making them yourself. My number one product from Andrew Lessman. I'm so glad I purchased the largest bottle after 2 months. The difference in my focus and my work skills was definitely improved. After 4 months of 1 capsule a day, and that's all we recommend, the difference is profound. It restored the clearer and faster thinking skills from my younger days. Can't be without. I can really feel the difference in my energy level. I've been using this for over a year. I had been feeling fatigued and lacking energy. I used to need naps every day. Now I don't. Waking up ready for the day. I was tired day in and day out. Go to bed tired, get up tired, not even wanting to get out of bed. Since taking my CoQ10, I wake up in the morning like I used to when I was younger, ready to start the day. And there are thousands of reviews like this. Love, love, love this. My husband and I have been taking these for 3 months now. I feel a difference in my health, mind, and energy level. They really have helped me and my husband, and I make sure we are stocked up because I never want to run out. I love it so much. CoEnzyme Q10 now required. And these are not computer-generated reviews, you could tell. These are written by real people. I've been taking Andrew Lessman's vitamins, including CoQ10, consistently for at least 10 years. I've never noticed a difference when I ran out or didn't take a particular vitamin for a while. Recently, I ran out of CoQ10 and tried to wait for Andrew to come on with his sale. After a couple of weeks, I felt tired and lacked energy. It was even harder than usual to get out of bed. I couldn't wait for the sale any longer and placed my order as soon as possible. I was back to normal in a couple of weeks. I'm sorry, Molly. That's Molly in California. Last one, more energy, feeling great at 66. I'm such a believer in these products. We take the multivitamin, now we are taking the CoQ10. Just within 1 week, our energy level is so much higher and we feel fantastic. We live in Las Vegas and have driven by your factory. It looks so nice, thank you. Love your products from Lorraine in Nevada. That's great.
Fabulous, so good. And obviously, that's just a small sample of the over 4,000 reviews that are on hsn.com. Our time is coming to a close for this full main presentation. If you'd like to order, the pricing is obviously the real attraction today. The story of CoQ10 remains the same. The formula evolves and gets better than ever, but the pricing today is what really separates it from any other day of the year. If you want to save the money, and we all want to save the money right now, this is the day to shop. Again, you can choose just CoQ10 by itself or with vitamin D3, 1,000 IU or 2,000 IU. Most people are doing this, the 2,000 IU. You can start small if you want 30 capsules. 61, 22, 40, or the specialty 500 capsules that's right there. $512 approximately is what you would spend if purchased separately. If you can get your order in before midnight, you'll get it, instead of for that, for this, $199.90, obviously saving $312 and change. Now, we've got hundreds of people placing orders on the phone because this is obviously the end of the day at this stage. You can call us still on the toll-free number. You can go to hsn.com. Heck, you can open the camera on your mobile phone or your tablet and scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen, and that'll take you straight through to the HSN page where you can place that order immediately and take advantage of this. Andrew, like we said, it's the words brought to reality, and if you order today, Andrew, folks have until the end of January. It's basically a 4-month return policy.
And it's something that I never had an issue with. I think HSN was a little concerned at first, as was QVC. But as I've said before, we have by far the lowest return rates at the network. So we're not worried. It could be a 6-month or a 1-year return. All people are going to be doing is reordering. I didn't make CoQ10 as essential and critical and beneficial as it is. That's the guy upstairs did that. So we just get out of, as I always love to say, we get out of Mother Nature's way. We follow that blueprint, then we get out of her way. We deliver the ingredients in as pure a fashion, as bioactive, bioavailable fashion as possible, and we make sure you have all the tools. So not only are you getting the best CoQ10 in the world, you're giving your body all the tools to also, hand in hand, partner with the product and synthesize its own CoQ10. There's nothing like it, plus free vitamin D if you want it. That's the CoQ10, vitamin D, B12. I'm not sure which one is more important when you look at the insufficiency or deficiency in this country, but you don't have to choose. You get them all, and it's just an incredible value when you consider what you're getting.
Well, over the past 26 years, there's been a tremendous amount of innovation and breakthroughs. Amazing things brought to HSM from Andrew. One of the